Getting a little rolling start on our podcast pop-up. Just making sure I got the room ready for everybody. Something we've never done before. Hopefully we can do it again. Typically we are very structured and planned for very strategic for our podcast, pre-interview people, schedule guests weeks in advance. And today I said, why don't we just do a pop-up podcast that, man, anybody who's got something good they want to tell us about what they got going on in the world or in their world, come on and join us. Just like that. No pre-screen. We won't check your background. Won't run your credit. Man, that's dope, man. That's legit. So I need to see. There are people that came on. So I'm just going to bring them on and we will go in the order in which people come on. Just that simple. Okay. We got 3 minutes. So Impact Life 24/7 is an international podcast that is hosted right here in Impactville. And we're blessed to have been doing this now. This is going on year number 3. I was ready to give up after year number 1. But I just said, realize that there's so much good in the world, so much amazing stuff going on in the world that we couldn't quit. And when we started adding guests to the show, really just made the difference in the world, made all the difference in the world. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're just, based on the amount of people that show up. Look, I just give people opportunities. You know what I'm saying? We utilize this platform as a platform of opportunities. When I was a young speaker trying to find places to speak, it was hard to get opportunities, and I took free opportunities. I took paid opportunities. I took chicken dinner opportunities. I took drive down to get a t-shirt opportunities, because sometimes exposure is even greater than the check, So anybody who comes in the room, we will let them in. We're just asking if you're listening to me now, we're just asking that you stay on mute. Gonna have Dr. Dunlap up first. He's talk to you about him, and then Flossie Njama is participating in the pop-up. So I'm gonna have her on after Dr. Dunlap, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. Never done it this way before, so I'm a extemporaneous kind of guy, and so I hope this blesses you. We're recording it and putting everything in place just like we would do our normal high quality podcast. We're not going to scrimp on it. We ain't doing it on our phone. We're doing it right here in the high definition studios of Impactville. And I'm sitting atop the Ruth E. Plowden Legacy chair. And so with that, we're going to get started with our friends. We're going to admit all into the room. Let's see if technology will support us. Going to let these folks in the room, and let's see what happens. I'm excited about who's coming in the room. These ain't strangers, thank God. These are people I know. I know they're dynamite. Yeah, it is. It is. Exposure is sometimes greater than the check. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the myth, and legend, Dr. Nate Dunlap, my friend. I know Flossie Njama's in the room somewhere. She's probably hanging out. and we just gonna go with people in the order that they appeared. And Dr. Dunlap, you know, he was number one. Dr. Dunlap, number one, baby. How you doing, sir?
My brother, I am doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm just glad to.
I tell you what, man, you. One day I'm gonna talk about you at length, but you get it, bro. I mean, doctor, you get it. You support people. I see you supporting all different types of folks, and this is one thing that I've really, you know, like if I come up with something, I just came up with this. I just came up with this. I think today or yesterday. I don't know. It was just like let's do this. And Dr. Dunlap just like, man, I'm gonna support you. I'm down with you, man. It's hard to find friends like that, man. And Dr. Nate Dunlap, you are truly, I mean, we are just like a brotherhood. If you was around the corner from me, I'd be at your house every day borrowing your sugar.
No, I'll be at your house because you cook.
Yeah, that's right, brother. So anyway, we're going to keep this informal, but a pop-up is basically, for all of you guys that will watch out there, a pop-up is like, okay, we didn't plan this. We're going to find a place and we're just going to go there and see what type of response we get. Well, I said, well, let's take that same energy and use it in a podcast format. And let's just say, hey, look, we're going to run our podcast tonight. Anyone that wants to come on and talk about what they got going on can come on. It's just that simple. We won't check your credit. The Dr. Dunlap might. we won't run your background. We just want to bless you with some airtime. So, Dr. Dunlap, my friend, please tell us what is going on in your world. A lot has changed since the last time you appeared here. So get the folks caught up because you got a lot of good stuff going on, sir.
So listen, we are super excited. Number one, we are doing better than good. And I think there's a lot to be said about that, right?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have been just trying to survive, right? Just trying to survive over the last couple of years. And we've been able to see people thrive. We've been able to see people do some miraculous things, or God do some miraculous things through some people, used us and expanded our team here at the PRF Institute. I'm really excited about that. You don't see the bags up under my eyes no more, brother. So, you know, that means I got some folk around us that are helping to pull some of this load because it's weighty. And so life is good. Life is good. I'm getting ready to go on vacation. Hey, this is a pop-up. I'm ready to go on vacation.
Yes, sir.
In a little bit. Can't tell you when because, you know, I don't put out that for OPSEC purposes. But yeah, we got a vacation in the future.
Dr. Dunlap, man, you're so smooth. I was connected with you when somebody was they was knocking on the wrong door in your neighborhood one day. I said I might want to put out a message. Y'all don't want to knock on that door now. I'm just telling you. And so, Dr. Dunlap, you're the founder of PRF Institute. Tell us what PRF is, sir. Many people who may not know you may not know what PRF is and what it does.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the PRF Institute is a stewardship-based teacher ministry, one of a kind. It is that organization that really helps people to connect the spiritual, physical, and the financial together. We pride ourselves on making spaces safe for individuals. So, for example, having the conversations one-on-one, our one-on-one consultations is something that's very, very big with us. And we've incorporated that into the teaching that we've been doing for almost 14 years now.
Wow.
Almost 14, July be 14 years. And what we found is that people want somebody that's going to walk with them through a process.
Right.
Not just tell me, hey, go see Dr. Dunlap, right? Not just tell them to go see Dr. Dunlap or somebody on the team, but walking with them through the process. So when they start to fall off the wagon a little bit, you need somebody to help you to be accountable to get you back onto the wagon. And so we focus on 7 different areas, from financial healing, from stewardship, which is the basis of what we do, credit, debt, estate planning, or what we call legacy, planning and savings. And then, of course, for the church folk, we talk about giving and tithing. They don't want to fool with that too much, though. But, you know, we offer it, though. You know, we offer it.
They don't want to touch that. They don't want to touch the tithes and offerings. They're sacred now, baby. Sometimes offering same Dr. Dunlap be stepping on some toes in the back row sometimes on the ties and offering teaching. Dr. Dunlap,
Hey, we got company, so don't put me out there.
No. We're gonna be good, right, bro? Flossie Njama is gonna be up next on our pop-up podcast tonight. This is a special. We've never done it this way before, and I just said I wanted to have some people on. I didn't pick them. I said, listen, we'll open it up to anybody who's got something good to say. Dr. Dunlap, you have been on my mind a lot recently because I stalk you from a distance. I see what you got going on, and I love it. But I wanted to kind of use you as a voice for some people tonight who, let's say we take a baseline person, right? A family, and they don't know where to start in this whole, resources and finance and saving and strategies for the future. What would you tell them? I mean, like, what direction do they go? How do you help them? Because you say you walk them through this. How do you get them to first base?
Everything for us starts with an assessment. And so one of the things that we do not do is just try to start where we want people to be, right? We know that people are suffering with credit right now. So, and we know people are not able to save like they used to be able to save if they were saving. So we don't just say, you know what, we know planning and savings is a really good thing. So we're going to start and put out a whole bunch of lessons and we want to hope y'all come. That's foolishness, right? So what we do, if you come to us or when people come to us, we start off with two basic things. We start off with two assessments. One is a general assessment and the other one is a stewardship assessment. With those two assessment tools, well, there are two components that we use within our ministry. Those are things that's going to kind of give us a little bit of a window into your soul, kind of let us know a little bit about where you are and what you're thinking. And then we ask you, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Had a conversation with somebody today. They were looking to plan and save. So I was like, bet, we know where to go in the direction, and that's the direction that we take. Now, in order to get there, sometimes, CL, if we notice and recognize that there's a step that you don't recognize, then we have to incorporate that into the plan. So you want to save and you want to do some planning and savings, but you don't budget at all. So how are you going to know how much money you can really save and how much you can't save? Right. So we may need to dial it back a notch and then ramp you back up to getting you to the place that you want to get. Before you go, I'm excited. I got a word yesterday. One of our stewardship coaches sent a note to me and said that we helped this young brother, I'm talking about a young brother, get from up under $60-something thousand worth of debt, man.
Oh my.
That's the type of stuff, man. It just warms my heart, bro.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That is what I'm talking about. Listen, Dr. Dunlap, when I heard you say how you did, I was setting him up because I know how Dr. Dunlap roll, and I'm not gonna throw him no curveball. I'm gonna throw him a right pitch, because I listen. I want to promote. That's all I want to do. But you said exactly what people need to hear, especially in the coaching industry. Sometimes people they want you to understand their program and they want to try to make their program fit your life and get you to adopt. But what Dr. Dunlap said is, first thing we got to do is we got to do a couple assessments. And assessments mean that you got to get honest with where you are. Right? If you can't, you know what I mean? Like if I say, if you looked at me and said, hey, King, you want to get down to your Marine Corps weight of 167, let's do a couple assessments. What you eating all the time, brother? Oh man, I only eat salads and pomegranates. I only eat juices and berries. You lying, bro. You gotta an assessment is being honest with yourself. And after you get that assessment from people, Dr. Dunlap, then you're able to help them uncover, the direction that they need to go, huh?
Absolutely, because everything is about the root causes, right? So I'm talking to somebody today. We got a couple people out, so they've been working me for the last 2 weeks.
Get it, brother.
But this person was talking about credit and debt, and the reality is, if we're going to talk about credit and debt, of course, yes, let's do the assessments on credit. Let's do the assessments on debt. But let's find out why you're in that situation, right? And once you find out why, then my thing is we want to make sure that if there's some bad behaviors out there, that we help you to identify those so that you don't make those same mistakes again.
That's right.
Right. One of the worst things that I'll be honest with you, my sister, I hate people that fix credit. I don't hate people that fix credit. I hate this whole fixing credit crap. I hate it. I hate it. I detest it. I believe God hates it as well because it pushes people into a whole bunch of places that they wish they never was. So the amount of people that we talk to that's like, you know what, I paid somebody $129 a month to help fix my credit. And I'm like, man, y'all could have been donating that $129 a month if y'all just connected with us a couple months ago, right?
Right.
But now we're cleaning up other people's mess. And it's so evil. I'm real intent. It's so evil because folks know that if you hold on to somebody's money for 6 months, that those bills are not being paid. And they believe in their mind that you're paying those bills down and you're working something out on their behalf. And that's not what's happening 99% of the time.
Wow. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Dunlap he is the real heat, ladies and gentlemen. You can't when you could get Dr. Dunlap to show up to your pop-up podcast, you doing something. I feel like I've arrived. I was trying to interview Denzel this year. I think I might just start with Dr. Dunlap. So let me ask you one or two more questions, Dr. Dunlap. When you were writing your books, you got two or three books?
I got 2 published.
Okay, 2 published, right? When you were writing your books, tell us a little bit about both books because they both have a unique. Both are unique in design. So tell us about them.
So the first book I published is called "Don't Leave Me Like This: Inspiration to Leave a Legacy," and it tells 3 stories of 3 father figures in my life, and all of them passed away within a 2-year period, and all of them had some things that were missing that was going to make life better for the ones who were being left behind. Mm-hmm. And so I tell this story to be just totally honest and transparent in hopes that people don't have to go through the same thing that I went through. And you pick up on the things that I'm saying for inspiration so that you can do better about leaving your own legacy. Nobody should be dying without life insurance, right? And if somebody dies without life insurance, there should be somebody there to help pick up the pieces for a family structure. So that was the first book. I published that book. It's on our website, prfinstitute.org. And then the second book I published was in 2019. Oh my God, that book, man, it's so powerful because it's called What's Next? Preparing for Eternity. Right. And at the time that I was doing the first round of edits, we were going through a tornado. Bro, we was in the middle of our hallway, my whole family in the middle of the hallway, my niece, everybody. And I'm on the laptop looking over the edits from the first edits, right? And it was a tornado thing and I got off the phone. I mean, when the tornado watch was over, something told me to reach out to somebody that was about 15 minutes away from me. And I said, hey, I reached out to the sister and I said, hey, want to check how's everybody out, the family out there in this little small community where I live. And she said, I lost 9 family members. Oh my. This was like 30 minutes before I called her. Really? And I'm still like, yeah. And what it showed me was I was on the right track with what God was giving me to write that second book, because eternity is not about where we're actually going, right? Eternity is that road that people have while we gone, right? Dunlap dies a day. What's that road to eternity gonna look like for my wife? What's that gonna look like for my three C's? So I wrote that book and it has some really good pieces into it that speak to some of the things that people need to be focusing on once somebody passes away. So the book is not for the person who just lost somebody. The book is for the person next to the person who lost somebody. Why? Because when my dad died, I'm not in the headspace. I want to freaking grieve. I don't want to deal with a whole bunch of stuff. If a bill is late, whatever, I just lost my pop, right? I don't care. Right. That's the reality. And it's not personal, but it's just where people are. So I wanted to make sure that people have this resource so that the people around them can say, oh, I need to be making sure I contact the mortgage company. Oh, I need to be making sure I contact the bank and get the death certificates to them. Because people just don't know about this stuff, man. They're waddling their way through while stuff is going down the tubes. And so it was just a good resource, man. And I'm grateful that God allowed me to write it and praying that more people will catch on, because think about it. It was written right before the pandemic.
It surely was. And ladies and gentlemen, I have both of the books in my library. So, of course, they're signed. You can't mess with them. They will be enshrined in the holy of holies. There, I did something that I found that I was negligent on. Let me just confess to the doctor, because he is a preacher too, Flossie. I didn't have all my passwords. Charity didn't have all her passwords in a place where we would know, like her bank. She's got a different bank for certain things. And, all of our passwords, electric bill, all of these things need to be known, instead of sometimes just automatically doing them through your phone. It's an auto password and all that. And I said, man, it was a lot of work to sit down and say, okay, this is step one. This is the mortgage company password. This is right. And I thought about that. I said, man, I'm just assuming that just because we do it automatically. And I said, but I could leave. This could be a mess, because people wouldn't be able to get into the account. They wouldn't know how to get into the account. And so I did that little work. I felt a little proud of myself to actually make sure that it's all there. Of course, you inspire me. I make sure that I'm prepared when I talk to Dr. Dunlap, because he's all about preparedness. So I do have one final question for you. And then I'm going to turn. I just got back from vacation, so I was up there in the Norfolk area. What has the pandemic, especially in you being elbows deep in helping people during that time, what has the pandemic taught us in relation to our preparedness? Put it on, take it off mute, brother. It's so good. They don't even want you to sit. They don't even want to hear it, to take it off mute.
That's a good one. I wasn't expecting that one, brother.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that the pandemic has really taught many of us is that we, and many of the institutions in which we collectively are serving, were very much unprepared. Now, not only has that been one of the biggest lessons, the fear of leaders in knowing that they are prepared, have not been prepared, as something that has come out in a very large way. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing is, with the light at the end of the tunnel in these opportunities to do some new normal stuff.
Yeah.
That is one of the worst things that has happened to us in the pandemic, because while the COVID-19's foot was on our necks, people were thinking differently.
Yeah.
They were thinking, you know what, I got to do this, right? Not talking about the ones who were just trying to survive, ones who barely could eat and all of that, but right. Those of us who had means, those of us who had access, those of us who had resources, it caused a lot of us to think a whole lot differently. Yeah. The sad part with that is many of us, not me, but many of us who are in certain socioeconomic statuses and have resource and access have failed to properly prepare the people for the next one. And that's the worst thing that I've seen happen throughout this pandemic.
Yeah.
Worse than almost 1 million people dying.
Yeah.
The intentionality by leaders and people with access to make sure people are prepared for the long haul is the worst thing that I believe has happened during this pandemic.
Wow. So we just hunkered down and endured and didn't really get the lessons learned. Mm-mm. And then reverted back to our previous behaviors. Which,
think about it like this. Yeah. You know that many people could not apply for funds from the government, right? Many people could not get the freebies that was out there, right? Was free, right. Free. Many of those people that could not do it was because their organizations weren't set up to receive. Mm-hmm. Did not have their tax papers prepared. Right. Did not have their 501c3s, but you've been talking about 501c3 and giving folk back statement. So did not have all that.
Right.
So people missed out. And as they missed out, you think the opportunities are not going to be there for the long haul? You think the opportunities are not going to come back? So let's see what happens in the next couple of months when the supply chain continues to get tighter.
Yeah.
And tighter. Let Russia and Ukraine continue to keep going at each other. Watch how when more people continue to not be able to get out there and produce a lot of goods and services that we need in America and around the globe, in China, right? Folks on lockdown, bro. I've been locked down for like a month.
I know.
Like, seriously, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to have a secondary effect. Yes. And we're already seeing it, right? I shouldn't be paying $1.85 for avocados coming from Mexico.
Right, brother.
Avocados cost 90-something cents, 70-something cents if you get them at the farmer's market.
Yes.
Right? Those are the type of things that just should not be happening. And the people who are not prepared, if you don't have rice in your cabinet right now, all right. If you don't have beans in your cabinet, all right.
All right.
I ain't talking about having steak and lobster, but yeah. When I went to get a deep freezer a couple weeks ago, got a small deep freezer, right? They were running out of deep freezers. So I pay attention to stuff like that, right? So when I see that Home Depot and Lowe's are almost out of deep freezers, or it's going to take 2 weeks for them to get more deep freezers, you know what that tells me? Some folk with some sense is stocking up.
They are.
And what I want to do is be one of the ones that's helping other people. Like I told them a couple weeks ago in our session, one of the sessions we were doing planning and savings during the pandemic, did a series on that. If I'm telling you that, listen, you don't know me from Adam's house cat. I learned that saying from the South. But if I tell you I'm going out to get me a deep freezer, Brother King will tell you, you probably want to go out there and get you a deep freezer, right?
Right.
And put some stuff up in it, right? Do the things that I'm doing, right? Jesus said something about, don't be following the religious leaders and the Sadducees, listen to what they're saying, but don't do what they do, because what they're doing, they ain't really doing it. They're not really serious about what they're talking about. Yeah. If I tell you, listen, I'm going to put some money over here and you got the money to do it, put your money over there too. Let's all do that, and then we're all going to be in a better spot. Because then when people need somebody to help them, they know where to come. Right now, folks will be in a jacked up way, so I'm going to stop.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, a friend of mine, a platinum sponsor of our podcast, just someone who, when I talk about support, I can call him anytime, day or night. I try not to do that too much, though, right, Doctor? I try to not bother you too much. But I mean, like he really is about helping people. He has a heart for people and a heart for getting people ready, man, not going down the same paths. You can go to prfinstitute.org to connect with Dr. Nate Dunlap. And any closing thoughts before we let you go and get ready for your vacation, Dr. Dunlap?
No, I got class tonight at 8:00, but I'm ready to hear my sister because she up there doing some head nodding. So I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear. Look, I look at all that stuff in the back, vision board and all that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear what she got to talk about.
Flossie Njama is the Bob. So thank you, Dr. Dunlap. Flossie Njama is someone who has rapidly become one of my favorite people when I see pop up online, because she is so inspirational. If you guys could see that's online, she has a smile that's pretty infectious, and she hails from, let me make sure I get this right, Cameroon, Africa, right? No, Cape Town. Where do you originally? Wait. Give me the letter.
K.
What's in K, Africa? Where is that? Tell me. Kenya. Whoops, Cameroon. Why did I have Cameroon, Africa on my mind? Kenya. She hails from Kenya. I knew it was a K, so I was at least close. And she has a story that's really, really remarkable. She's got a book out that I have here in my library as well, and I want her to just tell about her journey, because it's a really unique journey in that she was given a diagnosis that she just refused to accept, and she turned things around, and now she's helping people all around the world do the same. So Flossie Njama, my dear sister, welcome to the POPUP Podcast. Tell us a little bit about your journey, sister.
Well, CL, you know how much I love you, and I'm humbled by this moment a lot. I'm really humbled. And Dr. Dunlap, nice to meet you. I'm already going to look you up, and I am liking what I'm hearing. Actually, I'm loving what I'm hearing. I am excited. And this right here for me is an amazing moment, because Never been a dream or a thought that I could be doing a podcast, leave alone a pop-up podcast, having CL interview me. I really kind of had to find a way the very first time because I knew he was gonna be a brother. I could tell from what I heard. My coach told me and I knew it. So I'm thankful. But really quick, even the background, there's a dog barking. That's my daughter's dog. He's out here playing somewhere.
It's
There
okay.
he goes. So my story, as you know, I'm gonna make it really brief, is I was raised and born in Kenya, little village, like my book says. My book is called Village Vibes, right there. And very poor, and no road, no paved roads, no running water, no electricity, no amenities, but we did it, we loved it, because that's all we knew. And grew our own food, which was the best part of everything else. And when I moved in the United States, it was a big culture shock. But most of all, it was a food shock for me because in a few years down the line, after I went to nursing school as a second career, is when I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease called sarcoidosis. People say sometimes I pronounce it different, but the fact remains it was so nerve-wracking. So sarcoidosis or autoimmune diseases they usually don't have a cure. So as you may know, so you just maintain and manage the symptoms and the flare-ups, and they deteriorate, and just like we're gonna die in the very end, but you're looking into that, like MS, lupus, fibromyalgia, so many of them. And so with all the many doctors, specialists that I saw, and being a nurse, I'm going to go back and tell Dr. Dunlap, I'm a nurse, critical care nurse for the past 27 years. And I was seeing all this. And so I kind of knew what to expect as far as side effects. However, I thought I was doing everything okay, eating correct, doing what, because I'm a nurse. I got it. I know this. I have the information, but that wasn't it. And so with all the specialists and all, and whatever they put and presented to me as a treatment, I decided to do my own second opinion and research. And when I embarked on the second opinion and the research, I went all the way and learned so much that I thought I knew, but I didn't. I got so much information, I got so knowledgeable, and I went crazy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can do this. I can go back to the village and take care of my disease because it can be done if I have the faith. But that's not all that I did. I had to change a lot of things, not just the food, which was one of the biggest ones, but I changed how I thought. I changed my mindset. I changed my approach of things. I changed my lifestyle. And with all that, things started falling out of place. And I was getting more and more excited and inspired as I was realizing that my blood work was coming back better, because it was like initially weekly blood work, then bi-weekly, then that kind of thing and all this. And I realized it was coming back better. And so when I went back to the doctor after so many phone calls of why I'm not going back for my appointments, and the diagnosis was negative after biopsy, I was ecstatic. I mean, it was like, really? Mm-hmm. And so from there, I went crazy. I'm like, this is what I'm going to bring to my people, to my community. It can be done. And so since then, it's become my mission. I wrote this book called Village Vibes, which also first time author with very little technology, 3 fingers typing. CL knows that. 10 weeks, I wrote the book in 10 weeks, and it made Amazon bestseller. How about that? And so from then, I was like, I'm gonna bring these people, to the community, and became my mission. It became my passion. I found my purpose.
Right.
So I changed my title. I'm still a nurse, but I changed my I got myself another title, and I called myself Nurse Flossie Njama. I am an inspiring health advocate and guide.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I empower and create awareness to the community to live a simple, healthier life.
Right.
And make it a lifestyle. And so, as we speak today, my business and my mission, which one of these days will become a nonprofit, is called Simple Life Healthier You, LLC.
Simple Life Healthier You. Yeah, that's powerful. And Flossie, when you just mentioned several things that really stand out to me. You said that you didn't just change your diet, even though that was an important part of this journey, but you said you also had to change your mindset. Now, how was that harder than changing your diet?
Exactly. It was, because that involved my friends, the kind of people I hang around,
Yes.
the kind of books I read,
Yes.
the kind of family that depended on me just because they thought I had the finances or whatever it may be, and so it was a lot. And my spiritual part. So all that was a big part. And when I started working with that and getting all the negativity out of it, which included a lot of it, including people out of my life, little by little, and losing a lot that did not understand what it is that I'm doing and why I am different and all that kind. Because I also worked on changing how I spoke and how I related to people.
Yeah.
All that had to do with it, which was not like before. So with that, I lost a lot of friends, I mean, they're there, but not like before. So it was a lot.
So now the autoimmune disease, how long did it take for things to turn around after you really got serious?
7 months.
7 months.
Solid months. I was very aggressive in everything that I did. The people that really know me know that when I start, I don't stop. I just go. My daughter says to me, Mom, I don't get it. You're doing all this. You're doing all. I don't. I will set a deadline for something a week in advance. She's like, Mom, that can't be done. I'm like, yes, it can be done.
Yeah.
That's my mantra. Nothing is impossible. It looks impossible until it's not done, until it's done.
Flossie, you're my secret inspiration. I just asked Dr. Dunlap if he'd be a ghostwriter for my book, and of course he turned me down. But you know why you're my inspiration? Because my book is supposed to be out 7/24/2022. So I ain't got, but I've been saying, I got 7 months. Now I got 6 months. Now I got 5 months. Dr. Dunlap, I got 4 months. Oh my, I'm the 2-minute drill dude though, brother. I'm the master of the 2-minute offense. But what keeps in the back of my mind is Flossie did it. How long did it take you to write your book cover to cover and get it out the door?
10 weeks, and I've never typed before except at the hospital. So I had what we call EPIC experience, which is a program for the nursing program. The nursing documentation, which we just learned to use 1 or 2 fingers. I never learned how to type in my life.
Really?
Before that. And so it was very difficult because I had to use a lot of YouTube, because I didn't even know how to number my pages. I didn't have a template. I didn't know what a template was. And my coach Tamara played the biggest role because she kept saying I can do it. I tried to dictate and text. I couldn't because he wouldn't understand my accent. That was very, 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 very stressful. So I tell people that writing my book is a book because I cried more than you can imagine. It was so difficult.
Yeah.
And I still work 6 nights a week, 12-hour night shifts. Yes.
Well, and that's what I said. 10 weeks. So that's just 4, 8, 12. So that's just under 3 months. And so I'm within that window. So I think there's still hope for me, Flossie. You have inspired me to know that all I need is 10 weeks and I can get the book done.
There's no hope. You're doing it. You got it.
I might bring you on as a consultant to get down to the wire, right? Dr. Dunlap, bring her on as a consultant. Because Greg, my VP, he wants to, if you got a meeting, Greg, if you say the meeting's at 7, Greg is going to be standing by at like 10 after 6. He wants stuff done way in advance. I'm sure Dr. Dunlap's the same way. Well, I'm a little different. If you say the meeting's at 7, then I'm gonna be there, 5 minutes till 7. I'm the master of the last minute. But yeah, your book is very, very inspiring. And when you talk about coming to America, what year did you come to America?
1992.
And did you speak English then?
I spoke English. It's my third language, but I came into New York then, so I've been through a few states. But it's not about even the English, it's everything else, because I never knew how to drive until I learned how, not to drive in the United States, to drive, period.
Oh, wow.
In my late 30s, up there, that's when I did. It was not easy. There was so much to try and capture at the same time.
Right. And Flossie, you that's what I say, you are such an inspiration, because you have not let anything hold you back. Tell us about, real quick, Flossie, about the little hustle that you got going on with all the juices that I'm just like, I need to quit trying to be a speaker and team up with her. She sells this specialized brew that she makes, and it's going all over the world. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. This little hustle is a hustle that I didn't plan on making it that, which is crazy. Sometimes it blows my mind. It really does. Yeah. So while I was working on my diagnosis, among what I just mentioned, and eating, I started juicing, and I learned so much about where my food came from and the processing and all that, because it's not about juicing, it's about every single food, piece of anything that I put in my mouth. I was like, I gotta know. Yeah. They'll say it's organic. Is it really organic? No, I gotta be sure. Right. So I learned so much about the different kinds, and that's another whole another day thing. But so with that, I introduced so much to my body, very natural stuff that are natural. And one of them is turmeric tea. Turmeric, tomato, I don't know how you say that. What is it? But I said turmeric tea. And when I was able to figure out how to make turmeric tea, and I learned all the benefits of all the spices that I could put together, and then I added that to my regimen, and I could tell the change in the feeling, and my blood work was better, and the energy, and my skin, and everything was like, ooh. So my friends know about that turmeric tea and many other things that I've been doing. And so because I would serve it to them, I'll go to their house and bring it. I'll go to their house and make it for them. So from there, they said, you probably want to put one of your regimens out there, because it's amazing. We love it. And so we decided, okay, one of them trying to do the turmeric tea. I said, I guess I will. So I posted it one day on Facebook, me drinking my turmeric tea. I said, try me, DM me. And that's all I did. I got so many DMs, but CL, here's the problem. I didn't know how I'm packaging this tea, how much is the price, how many ounces. I just posted. Right. on my stories at the moment. I put in my stories. And so people are texting me, are DMing me, and I'm figuring out how many ounces is this? It's me in the water and the faucet. I'm like, okay, how much is this? Okay, I don't know. And how much would I sell it? What would I put in a plastic container, in a jar, in a mist? I'm doing all this. And finally, I came up with 64 ounces, which is half a gallon. And then I'm like, I got to Google if they have it on Amazon. But now I said tomorrow, and it is Sunday, and tomorrow is Monday. I can't get it from Amazon. So I'm like, okay, let me see if I can get it from Walmart. So I'm going to Walmart before they close that night, and I got that. And I'm like, okay. So I got some orders, and I started selling the tea. Right. So I said, pick up or deliver. I can deliver, or you can pick up from my house's address. But that's not on Facebook. We started now DMing and texting each other with the people. And so I got so many people coming that Monday, because it was a Sunday. That Monday, my my driveway was like, I ain't gonna say it on Facebook, on Zoom,
right.
back and forth. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And so people continue to text me so much in between. And I'm like, I don't have the turmeric tea anymore. I did it last on Monday. Probably I'll do it next Monday. And so I kept texting back that. And eventually I decided I'll give it a name, Turmeric Tea Monday. And I'm only going to do it on Monday.
Right.
So now the house is called Turmeric Tea Monday. So every Monday, every Sunday, I post it. And on Monday, I do so many drop-offs and so many others pick it up. And it is really getting big. So it's almost going to be something else. So I'm
Well,
looking into, yes.
I've been watching you. That's why I wanted to bring it up. And if you want some of this tea, all you got to do is DM Flossie Njama. I want to send some more people over to her house or make her have to deliver some more. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. You just are working hard, Flossie. Not only did you become a registered nurse, you came to the country, figured out how to drive. Driving in America is hard. Got to be the hardest place to drive anyway, because we can't drive here. And finished your book in 10 weeks. And just said, you know what, you tackled an autoimmune disease. You are truly a testament that no matter the adversity, you can make it, Flossie. And so we really appreciate you coming to the pop-up and hanging out with us. I would love for you to give everybody your website and how people can contact you.
Yeah, my website is www.simpleLifeHealthier. I say healthier, you.com, because I look at it, everybody's healthy, so we want to be healthier. And then my Facebook, you can just go to Flossie Njama, which is NJ, like N in Nancy, J as in John, A-M-A. That's my Facebook. But I also have Simple Life Healthier with a capital U. Simple Life Healthier U family. That's my group.
That's your group.
And in my group, you can get so many testimonials. People are saying, my back don't hurt no more. My knees don't hurt no more from the teeth. After 2 days, my back feels good. I slept good. The testimonials are so, oh my God, they're just amazing. I'm just thankful that I am. So that is what makes me more happy than anything else.
Yeah, man, that's called impacting life. Flossie Njama, ladies and gentlemen, we've had her on our show, and it was so amazing. Her story, her book is just really so simple, very simplistic understanding in terms of not that her book is simple, but she gives us simple approaches. Like, hey, look, you can do this. Sometimes when you get information in your hand, it's so hard to understand, you just get frustrated and quit. But Flossie has made it so that, hey, man, you can get started today on this simple life, healthier you, going back to eating in the ground, from the ground. And you just done a tremendous job, Flossie. Any closing words before we bring Chris D.T. Gordon on?
Yes, real quick. Three things that I talk about, even when my people are ordering my team, and when I talk about creating awareness and empowering people, when I'm talking about that mission, I include the 3 C's that are very, 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 they mean a lot. And I see, because I've used those 3 C's and they have brought me to the next level in everything, in my mindset, my life, my everything. The 3 C's stand for choice. When you make that choice, whatever choice, business, health, lose weight, get better, marriage, whatever. Commitment, because that's a big one. I think commitment, getting committed, just like you committed to do your book, commitment is a big one, because that's how I've gotten where I'm at. And then the big guns that I talk about every single time is consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter how little. It's not the size, it's quality versus quantity. The consistency is big. You don't have to do much every day, just do some.
Woo! You don't have to do much every day. Just do something. Come on, just do something. Yes.
And then one final sentence my mother used to tell me, and that's why I dedicate the book to my mother. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Oh, did you hear that, Dr. Dunlap? She in your neck of the woods now, but stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's the world-renowned Flossie Njama, hailing from Kenya, but now lives in St. Louis, right, Flossie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are such a joy, and we love and appreciate you. Those were some amazing words. I'm glad you came to the pop-up, man. I might do this
I
again.
love you. I love your podcast. You know that. I'm your biggest fan.
You go there all the time, man. Yes. So thank you so much, Flossie. Chris DT Gordon. And you guys can stay, leave, however you want to do it. This is just a pop-up. So Chris DT Gordon is someone who I've grown to be very close with because we got the same name, and we have stories that are, they could be diametrically opposed, but yet they're so similar in overcoming radical adversities. And so, Chris, if you want to come on camera, I want to introduce you to the folks. Are you out there, Chris DT Gordon? I see you. There he is. Yes, see, I knew I wasn't.
Hey, brother.
Man, I'm so glad you showed up, brother. Where's your cape? That's what my question is. I thought you was going
to. You can't use the cape all the time. Otherwise, it loses its effectiveness.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got to be Clark Kent sometimes too, right, Chris?
Exactly. That's, you have to mix the mild-mannered with the super. So,
yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have seen him on our show before. Chris DT Gordon. He's a professional speaker, an educator, a motivator with a phenomenal life story that really, sometimes we feel like that you got to manufacture things in order to be relevant. But Chris's story is a little different. He was just going about his business, an ordinary day, a typical day that changed his life forever. So what he was doing in the ordinary is really what has made him extraordinary. And I'm glad to have him with us. Chris, I'm glad you were able to slip in. I know you had to juggle some schedules. You're up there still in Minnesota. Is it still cold, brother?
Oh, man. I am a wimp, so I usually dress like this with my hat, my hoodie, and I'm north of Flossie in Minnesota, but it's still got a nip in the air.
Yeah, man.
But we're hoping for 70s on Saturday. So,
yeah,
fingers crossed.
It was 65 here, and we were still kind of bundled up. We're just spoiled in the South. Dr. Dunlap, he's a little south of me, so he likes it warm, right, Dr. Dunlap?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So anyway, Chris DT Gordon, like I said, is a friend, someone very familiar with our show, and he's been on our show, inspired us. He's actually spoken at our Midnight Motivation. And so I'm so glad that you had the time to come to the POPUP Podcast on a Tuesday night. So, Chris, why don't you just give us an insight to your journey, brother? Because that's really what captivated me to you. Tell us about the whole journey of Scar Bearers.
Definitely, CL. So, and it's really weird because it was 7 years ago last month that I happened to scratch the back of my right hand on our exterior garage wall. We have a detached garage. I was helping my wife, Becky, get the kids ready for school. I picked up our younger son, Seth, and I was flying him back and forth just to keep it entertaining. Went too far to the right, scratched the hand on the wall. I looked at it, and I quoted one of my favorite movies of all time, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I looked down at it and said, "'Tis but a scratch." Wasn't bleeding. So I figured I'll put him in the car seat, kiss them all goodbye. They go off on their way. I go back into the house, wash off my hand, start teaching. 3 days later, I wake up. I have a lacrosse ball-sized bump on my right elbow. I go get it checked out. They say, keep an eye on it. Let us know what happens. So I did. As over the next 10 hours, my arm ballooned to 3 times the size. My left arm was puny Bruce Banner. My right arm was Hulk smash. I was like the Incredible Hulk in mid-transformation. But I didn't feel very smashy. I felt more sicky.
Yeah. So
Becky took me to the hospital. They admitted me, saw that not only did I have a ginormous right arm, I had also gotten septic, which is basically, in my case, I had poison running through my veins while I had a ginormous right arm.
Yeah.
So, of course, they keep me overnight. In the morning, the doctor then says, Mr. Gordon, this is beyond us. We can do nothing more for you here. Where do you want to go? Well, I'm in Minnesota. I'm 2 hours west of the Mayo Clinic. So I say Mayo in Rochester, Minnesota. So they fly me to Mayo, and that's where they diagnosed me with flesh-eating bacteria, also known as necrotizing fasciitis. And that began a 2-month hospital stay. And Flossie, I have to say, I love you, not only for the person that you are, but you're a nurse. I absolutely love nurses. They kept me not only healthy, but a lot of them became friends of mine. But back to my hospitalization, I stayed in the hospital for 65 days, needed 15 surgeries. Many of those were extensive reconstructive surgeries. I had to have all the skin from the back of my right hand up to the base of my neck removed, and then replaced with skin grafts from the back, my back, and my thighs. I even have this lovely part here. This flap of skin here was from my left thigh, and it was taken from my left thigh because the infection had gone so far that the doctors at first thought I would need to have my arm amputated.
Oh my!
But they saw that it still had hand functions. I still had hand function, so they elected to remove a 15-inch by 4-inch flap of skin. That's 5 square feet of skin, and placed it on my right arm and hand. So since this is my thigh on my hand, I call this my thand.
Yeah.
Copyright pending. However, that left a gaping hole in my leg, so they had to remove one of my quadricep muscles and then install knobs and a shoestring type contraption into the wound, so over time they can tighten the knobs to close the wound.
Ooh.
So all that happened within the first week. And I was even unconscious for the first 5 days of it. I was in a coma for the first 5 days. But in that, when I woke up, at first I was really confused because I thought I was at the bottom of a water slide that was like pummeling me with green liquid. Turns out the green liquid was coming from within because I was throwing up CT fluid, which is not a pleasant way to wake up, CL. Let me tell you.
Oh my!
Yeah, it gets a 1 star on Yelp. Would not recommend. So I finally get my wits about me, and I start really taking in what was going on with my whole life.
Yeah.
And at first, I had all kinds of questions, but no answers.
Yeah.
And that set me down into almost a spiral. I call it personal bacteria. Yes, my body was rid of the flesh-eating bacteria, but I had this personal bacteria setting in. All those negative questions to which I had no answers. What was my body going to be like when I fully recovered, if I fully recovered?
Yeah.
What was my mental state going to be like? What were my relationships going to be like? How was I going to do in my job? How are we going to survive this financially? I had all these questions, no answers, until my wife, Becky, started telling me about how people were helping us out. And this ranged from people shoveling our walkways, snowblowing our driveways, dropping food and toys off for the kids at my in-laws' house who happened to live in Rochester. It's one of the reasons why I told them send me to Mayo. My brother from Michigan flew in and spent a week and a half with us, sometimes sleeping in the hospital overnight so he could get the latest updates on my condition. A high school classmate of Becky started a GoFundMe account that raised well enough to cover my lost wages because I ran out of sick days well into my hospitalization. With all these people doing so much for us,
Yeah.
I felt that if I were to become angry or resentful or anything but grateful, it would be like a slap in the face to anyone who helped us.
Right.
And so I created what I now call the attitude of gratitude. And when I did that, I started asking myself 3 questions. I replaced questions with questions, but it's the different kind of questions that made the difference.
Yeah.
I asked myself, what was I thankful for? Who was I thankful for? And how can I give someone else a reason to be grateful?
Ooh.
And by asking those 3 questions, I started creating a more grateful, more positive, and more resilient me. Because I found that when I'm grateful not only for the big things, but the small things, I become wealthier
Yeah.
than I could ever have imagined. I mean, yeah, I was fine, being thankful for my family, my friends, my faith, my house, my home, my job. But when you can look at a beat up old computer mouse held together with duct tape,
Uh-huh.
and you can find value in this, what else can you find value in? Oh, yeah, I can find value in these scissors. I can find value in this pen. I can find value in the door hinges that
Right.
hold up my door. Now, I'm not using any of them right now, but the fact that I can find value in them and appreciate them when I don't need them makes me wealthier than I could have imagined. And it doesn't mean their market value is increased, but my appreciation has increased.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that has really kept me so positive and so grateful, is that I don't look at things in their market value. I look at things how, in the value and how they help me live my life.
Yeah. Right.
And by valuing them when I don't need them is key.
Yeah.
We say, oh, I'm so thankful for this person when they came and helped me. That's great. That's awesome. But I want you to value that person any day of the week.
That's right.
And in that, CL, I want to give your listeners and viewers a 3-step process to increase your appreciation of someone. I call this the triple A.
Triple A.
You're going to actively augment your appreciation of someone.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. The first step is I want you to take someone in one of the social circles that you share and take them out. You're not voting them off the island. You're not booting them out of the house, whatever analogy you want to use. You're just removing that connection with them, right? You're looking at them on their own.
Okay.
Then I want you to look and count all the ways that person affects the world in a positive manner. It could be how they parent. It could be how they teach. Could be how they do their job. Could be how they treat their friends. Look at all the different ways this person is a positive light in the world. Finally, I want you to put that person back into that social circle that you share. And now just be in amazement that you have this wonderful person in your life.
Yeah.
I like to use my wife, Becky, as an example. Yes, she's my wife, my partner, my best friend. But I take her out of that social circle that we share. And I see that she's a wonderful mother, a fantastic, loving daughter and sister, a brilliant teacher, a well-read historian, a great athlete, a well-polished musician. And she is as geeky as I am, but she plays it closer to the vest than I do.
Yeah.
She's all of those things. And when I put her back in that social circle, she's still all of those things. but she's my wife, my partner, my best friend to boot.
Yeah.
How lucky am I?
That's right, Chris.
And it's great to do this with people that we love, our close friends and family. But it's also important to do this with people that we may not get along with very much. Because we can't be friends with everyone,
Yeah.
but we can be friendly to everyone and show respect.
That's good.
And so I think if you practice the triple A with one person a day, you're going to find that, like the beat up old mouse and like my pen, you are richer than you thought before because you have this wealth of wonderful, positive people in your life.
That's powerful. That is powerful. And Chris, man, you making me a little emotional at the end of this pop-up podcast because I've heard your story, I've listened to you speak, and I've heard your story several times, but it seems like it hasn't gotten old, brother, because what you've done from your story and that situation is used it to teach us all how to be thankful. Like you said, they were looking at amputation, and you woke up in a crazy state, and you looked at that and said, well, I still have something to be thankful for. And I'm telling you, Chris, some people, especially in the faith community, they can say, well, you haven't gone through what I went through, so you don't know. I always would like to say, let me pull my friend Chris D.T. Gordon up and let's talk to him about that. Because I think what is so intriguing, Flossie, with Chris is that it was just an ordinary day. Just an ordinary day, Chris, that you were being an extraordinary dad. And then your whole life turned upside down. But you didn't allow it to get the better of you, because that's what I really, really love. You went on to do some pretty spectacular things after this event. Tell us some of the things that you've accomplished post-surgery, Chris.
Certainly. Well, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I am a runner. And as soon as I was discharged, I went out for my first run. As soon as I signed the paperwork on my home therapy, I went out and took my first run and ran the worst mile of my life.
Okay.
It was awful. I felt like I was going to die again, but I didn't. And I kept running. And as of today, I have set or tied 4 lifetime personal running records in the 5K, the 10K, the 10.5-mile marathon. And as we just had the Boston Marathon run yesterday, I am training to qualify for the Boston Marathon before 2030. I'm not a really good marathoner. I'm much better in those other distances, but I want to run Boston.
Yeah.
It's been a long-term goal of mine. And I've also started Taekwondo. And as of this past January, I earned my first degree black belt in Taekwondo. Thank you, sir. I've earned another teaching license. I'm a special education teacher for an online school. And I received my autism teaching license a couple years ago. And as you said before, I'm a professional speaker.
Yeah.
And I've been speaking. I like to say I started a couple years ago, but it really has picked up this year. In fact, April has been my busiest year so to date. In one day, I spoke in 2 different schools, 3 presentations, and 2 student workshops. I spoke last week at an elementary school for the very first time. And as you alluded earlier, I was wearing a cape.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, speaking in front of 450 K5 students in a cape is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
I wish everyone could do it at least once. It is a good time. And at the end of this month, I'm speaking for a mother of multiples state workshop in the Twin Cities. And as a dad of multiples, I think I qualify.
Yeah, you do.
So, but my speaking's going well, and I'm reaching out to schools, universities, other organizations who can use TAG, the attitude of gratitude,
Right.
to help their members increase their gratitude, positivity, resilience. I'm also working on a book, and I finished the second half first, because the second half of the book will be a journal, a year-long journal, so people can practice TAG for 52 weeks.
Yeah.
And I actually offer the journal to my audience members so they can practice TAG in a PDF form,
Yeah.
because I want to get them going and get them working on this and not wait until the book is ready.
Right. That's good. That's powerful, Chris. Chris, the reality is, brother, that we have a surplus of unthankfulness, right? We have a surplus in our world of ungratefulness. And we need, I know we joke about the cape, but we need superheroes like you, brother, that are going around and teaching people that you can find thankfulness and you can find gratitude in all the stuff that we kind of dismiss. I think you may have said this before, but I never really looked at it from your perspective. The taped up mouse, it's just an inanimate object. I just disregard it. I'm only thankful for it when I need it, when it works. And Chris, you really have helped us to understand that there's a lot to be grateful for, brother. I will say this, that what you've taught me is that your life, even though we know our lives are just vapors, your life can change in 24 hours, can it?
Yes, it sure can, sir.
Yeah, and you just continue to raise the bar. And I think these other things that you're doing should speak to people who have gone through traumatic situations. I know Flossie is tracking all the medical situation that you went through, since she's a nurse. So I know she can understand it all. But you're teaching us not to just wallow in our sorrow, and not just wallow in you could have had a woe is me mentality. So let's just ask that real quick before we go, Chris. Was there ever a time in the journey of getting back to Chris DT Gordon that you got down on yourself, or you felt depressed, or you didn't think you were going to make it?
There were 2 times, CL, I remember crying, and it wasn't out of despair or disillusionment. It was out of frustration. One was in the hospital because I couldn't sleep very well. My pain meds were low, and so I had a lot of skin grafts taken off my back, and I was having a hard time sleeping. And the other time was here at home, a month or so into my post-hospital life, and I was just a little frustrated.
Yeah.
But the attitude of gratitude, has kept me always looking for that bright, that silver lining.
Yeah.
Always looking for that bright light. And I want to leave you with 2 things, but I'm going to leave you with this first, CL. Your current reality is not your destiny.
Oh, that's so true.
Because, as you said, things can change. Your whole life can change in 24 hours. Your life can change in an instant, depending on the situation.
Right.
However, that's not always bad.
Right.
And so and like Flossie was saying earlier, you have to be consistent. You have to do the 3 C's. You have to be consistent, and you have to do 2 other things that start with C. I can't remember the rest of them, but I was listening earlier.
Choice and commitment.
Yes, choice and commitment. You have to choose your passion. You have to choose your purpose. You have to commit to practicing every day, and you have to stay consistent with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that is going to carry you to that next level, to that reality that you want to get to.
Right. Right.
And secondly, before I take off here, I want to invite Flossie onto my podcast, Scar Bearers, where I let others tell their tales of trial and triumph, because I think you would be a great great guest for that, Flossie. And so you can reach out to me at chris@chrisdtgordon.com. My website is chrisdtgordon.com. You can download a free tag one sheet. You can check out some of my videos. You can check out what I have to offer as a speaker. You can also go to the merch store, to my Chris DT Gordon's Tag and Pop Shop, to get a nice hat here. Tag hat, you get my "What is your favorite dinosaur" t-shirt. CL knows this is the question I finish off my interviews with all the time.
Yeah, so you better be thinking about your favorite dinosaur, Flossie.
Yes, I will ask.
Chris, did you got on Steve Bicycle's show, didn't you?
Yes, I believe so.
The funny science.
Oh, Tim Bicycle?
Yes, Tim Bicycle. I'm sorry, Tim Bicycle.
Yeah, I was on Tim's show.
Yeah, I think I was scrolling through and I saw you on there and I said, "Oh, this is a perfect fit," because I know you talking superhero stuff, no doubt, right?
Oh yeah, I was on both of his shows.
Yeah,
I was two of his shows at least. He has 3.
Right.
But yeah, Tim and I, we're both trolls,
right?
Because we grew up in Michigan under the bridge.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tim and I have a lot in common. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is a really good guy. He actually designed the backdrop behind me. So
I remember that, and yeah, he actually printed off about 1,000 of these fridge magnets I hand out to people.
Oh, nice. There we go. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so we're just doing a big old promotion for Tim.
We are, man.
That's all this is.
Tim got to slip us a C note, don't he?
Yeah, there we go.
Well, listen, Flossie, Chris, you guys are so special. Dr. Dunlap. We didn't plan to do this. Us content creators were always thinking of new things. So I see closed pop-up shops. I see, different pop-ups. And I said, why don't we try a podcast pop-up? And so I just did it. And I'm telling you what, it couldn't have been, we couldn't have had any better presenters today. You guys are just life changers, world changers. I love you. Flossie, get up with Chris, get on his show. And let me know when it is, because I'm definitely going to tune in. Great people. I thank you guys so much for making this a great night. We might do this again next month, but I pray God's blessings over you guys' life. Chris, I pray you get 100 more gigs, bro. I
thank you, my friend.
I told my team, I said, man, I may not get there. I may not get to whatever the pinnacle is. But, man, if I can play a little part along the way, Flossie, what did I say? If I can just fan the flames of somebody else, I know that I've done my mission. I may not can stay there and start to keep the whole fire going for you, but if I can come along and fan the flames that you're trying to get going, that's what God called me to do. I feel more in my purpose when I'm promoting others even than when I'm promoting myself. So I love you.
Well, I appreciate it, CL.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, man. I love you guys, and I hope that y'all have a great night, okay?
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you, Chris, and thank you, CL. What's your podcast name, by the way?
My podcast is called Scar Bearers. Like bearing scars, scar bearers, not scar bears, which would be visually awesome and frightening, but scar bearers.
All right, Scar Bearers. We're looking for. See, that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. Collaboration, connection, and Flossie Njama going to be with Chris DT Gordon on Scar Bearers, and we look forward to seeing that. So God bless you guys. I hope you have a blessed night. Okay.
You too. This was a blast. Good night.